Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Behavior Binge Bonanza. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. It's been about 2 months, so I'm excited to bring this back. It seems like our students kind of like cycle in and out in 2 months, so if you're kind of new here, like, it's a good sign you might be passing in 2 months, especially if this is your first Behavior Binge Bonanza. Yeah, you're in the right place for studying. It's going to be a great event. So, if you don't know what this event is all about, first up, I have some warm-up time to talk to you guys about whatever I think is kind of important. Today, the topics that I have chosen, it's kind of been based on how many comments I've been getting on these topics recently, is to talk a little bit about what your test scores mean, and about your test scores, how you should interpret them, how they relate to how much you should be preparing for the exam, and what are some other factors to consider about like how much you should actually be preparing for your exam. And then we'll also talk a little bit about anxiety and how to overcome that. And then later on in the stream, so in about 25 minutes or so, we have Karen is going to come on and talk about some topics on stream with me. Then we have Akita is going to come on at 2:20. They've chosen to talk about schedules of reinforcements. That's going to be super fun. Then we have our at 2:40, Kelsey chose to go over basic contingencies, also one of my favorite topics. So I'm really glad that we're going to go over that. And then at 3 p.m. we have Razia also has some mystery topics for us, and then Selena's coming on at 3:20 Eastern for some experimental design. So, it should be a really fun day. I know Selena mentioned that she's a little nervous. Didn't realize that she's going like live on stream. Well, that's what you signed up for. A lot of people were eager to get onto this stream for that. So, thanks everybody who has signed up. Should be a really fun time. I promise I'm not going to bite too hard. But we're in for a treat at this Bonanza for sure. Also, we're gonna try something a little different during this stream. So, one thing that we're gonna try is that I actually just put up a really awesome deal onto the Understanding Behavior shop. This deal right now is that if you purchase any of our mock bundles, that you're going to get a free set of fluency questions. So if you're new to understanding behavior stuff and you haven't purchased any of our things yet, now if you purchase either the ultimate mock bundles which come with one of our mock exams as well as our really detailed mini mocks, or if you go for our super ultimate mock bundle, which comes with both of our full-length mock exams and our mini mocks, then you're going to get the fluency questions absolutely for free. So also during this stream, if we get we're going to be counting like how many people take advantage of this deal, and the more people that take advantage of this deal, we're going to have to do more giveaways. So let's say about like every 3 orders that we're going to have to like give away something really good. So just kind of works out. So if you know that you want some really quality test materials, it's a really awesome opportunity to get there. And then also it helps out everybody else that's here, because if you buy more, then we're going to give away more. And no matter how many we sell today, we're going to be giving away some good stuff during this session. So stay tuned for all of that. It's all going to count during this stream. Or if you bought it today, we'll give that a count. So actually, we'll start our counter at 1, because there was somebody who purchased a bundle today, and we'll also send them the fluency questions. All right, so let's go ahead. And our first topic for today is we're going to talk a little bit about your test scores and what your test scores mean. This is going to be really important for anybody who has been struggling, especially if they have been testing several times. or are just like not really improving with their scores, or are scoring like below 350. I think this is going to be really important for y'all to hear. And I'm not going to lie, there's going to be some hard truths in this too. So I'm kind of one of those people who's like, hey, like it's going to suck. It's going to be hard. It should be hard because you're going to be a professional clinician once you pass this exam. So I am kind of more of like one of those people that's like, hey, you gotta toughen up and get through it because it's going to be hard, and let's get real and objective about where you're at and how much you should actually be preparing for the exam. The good news is that as far as preparing for the exam, I'm always a quality over quantity person. So I'm not going to be the person who's going to say like, hey, yeah, every single night you need to go study for 4 hours. And, even though that you're a mom and that you work a full-time job, you got to fit 4 hours of studying or you're not going to pass. In reality, like that's not true for nearly anybody. You don't need to put in 4 hours of studying a day. So it might be some tough truths here, but some of these truths might help save you a lot of time too. Do we have any repeat test takers here? Cool. Yeah, Corinne, I'm glad you're loving the mini mocks. Awesome. So yeah, a lot of repeat test takers here. Cool. A lot of people, yeah, testing coming up too. I know a lot of people are trying to fit that in with the 5th edition still. I know it's like for real now. So like the people that haven't passed this, I've taken it and haven't passed this month are gonna be on the 6th edition. So cool. Well, yeah, let's talk a little bit about like what your test scores mean. So first of all, let's talk about like how the board even tests your like scores you on your exam. So right now the exam has a total of 500 points. And the exam has 185 questions. So the math doesn't really line up here. Within the test, you have 10 questions that do not count for anything. So whether you get this right or wrong, it's not going to count towards your score. So this makes it really hard to like find out an exact percentage of what you need for to pass the exam. Now the different questions have different point rates. So I think most questions are between like 2 to 3 points for most questions. But this is going to average out to about like 80% because the passing mark for the exam is 400 out of 500 points. So 400 out of 500, that's roughly 80%. So that's why I have 80% as my mark in my mock exams, because that's just what the board tells you is 400 out of 500 points. So that's the best indicator that we can go off of. Now, for our Beat the Beast mock exams so far, we have, if you've scored over 80% or higher on your first attempt, the students have passed their exams 100% of the time on their next attempt. So really awesome tool if you're trying to get that extra confidence if you're going to pass, especially if you feel like you're in a strong place, but really just want that extra confidence. So essentially you need 400 out of 500 points, which is 80%, but the experimental questions mess it all up. So since there's 185 questions and 10 of them are not scored, we have 175 questions that are scored. And if we take the average of, or if we take this 500 divided by 175, then we can get about like what the average amount of points is per question. So probably the range is actually more like 2 to 4, since we're a little bit closer to 3 on our average here. So on average, each question is worth about 3 points, but some are going to be worth a little bit less, some are going to be worth a little bit more depending on the question. So it's impossible to tell exactly what percentage that you need, but it's going to be somewhere between like 70 and 85% to pass the exam. depending on which questions that you answer correctly are the experimental ones that don't really count for anything. So that's just about like the scoring. Now they give you a score that's going to be under 400. Since 400, you just get a pass. You don't tell. It doesn't tell you like how much above 400 you are. But what your scores really mean. So let's start like from the very bottom here. If you're scoring between like 280 and 315. This is that your scores are really low, and we've got some major issues here. So, what this means is that you need to do a lot of work. You pretty much at this point like need to relearn behavior analysis. It might even be beneficial. So there you can definitely learn a lot through test prep content and learn through a tutor and learn on your own through YouTube videos. But at this point, it's not even a bad idea to think about like retaking some courses. So at this point, like consider like retaking some courses because if you're scoring at this rate, it means that you have some major foundational flaws within your understanding of behavior analysis. Yeah, Eileen's asking a question. So, common myth here. A lot of people ask like, what percentage do you need on each unit? So on each like section of the exam. Like you do not need a particular amount in any section for the exam. So the exam is scored off of a total. So really only that 400 out of 500 matters. It doesn't matter like what you get in each section. Like for example, you could get a straight 0 in a section, and if you get 100% in like the other sections to carry that back up, then you don't need to. Then you're still gonna pass. So yeah, the very common misunderstanding that you need to pass every section, that is not true. It's just based off of your total, so don't worry about that. If you're like, oh, I'm just like never gonna get experimental design or whatever section is really difficult for you, don't worry about it too much. Like still like understand the basics at least, be prepared for that, but like don't think that you need to be a master to pass the exam. All right, so yeah, if you're scoring in this range, this 280 to 315 range, I've worked with students that were scoring in this range. I actually had one tutoring student who had 3 different exams between 290 and 305. And we were able to get her to pass her exam, and she put in a lot of hard work to do it and like followed my instructions very closely, but we were able to get her to pass her exam even though she was scoring in this range. So don't lose like complete hope. Like if you're still really committed to behavior analysis, then just still go for it because behavior analysis is really cool. Just know that you're gonna have to do a lot of relearning of what you already know. For sure. Yeah, Patricia's asking, like, where do I get my sources of information from? I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years, so I've been used pretty much every source under the sun. We use a lot of Java. I've used a lot of Cooper. I've used a lot of Pearson Cheney. I've used a lot of different random resources. I'm really a big fan of Malot's principles of behavior, so I do base a lot of my teaching off of that. But yeah, I use a plethora of resources that I've accumulated over a long time. I've been doing this a long time. All right, and a lot of this is just my opinion as well, so you can just be like, no, screw you, Nick. I don't need to relearn behavior analysis. I know everything about it. I'm like, okay, cool. But like after working with thousands of students, I've noticed that this is a pretty consistent trend, and this is what I recommend doing. It's really like starting from the basics, getting good at these concepts one by one again. And yeah, you pretty much have to just start over and keep going. All right, let's talk about this next range. So I'm going to put it like 315 to 340. Your scores like still need a lot of work. I'm still finding that students in this range are still missing a lot of like fundamental concepts. So I'm missing like key details about fundamental concepts. So what you need to really do is like you need to like focus on retraining. So it's like a lot of these students, like they have like very rudimentary understandings of certain concepts, but they don't really have like the full depth that we need. So like, for example, like a lot of students in this range are going to be like, if I ask them about like what is positive reinforcement, they might be like stimulus added that increases the behavior. And that's fine. Like it gets a decent amount like of the definition, but it's really missing like the whole point of reinforcement, because it's not just stimulus added, it's stimulus produced by the behavior. So it's contingent on this behavior. That's really like the important part that we need to get about that definition. So what I'm finding is that students in this this range, like they know a lot of concepts, they know a lot of details about them, but they're kind of messing like the bigger picture of these concepts. So I'm just saying like often missing like the details or like the bigger picture of certain concepts. And yeah, I think this might take some retraining. So like I would get like more technical definitions and like simplify them as best as you can for your understanding. So I think this is a really important tool to use at this point. Is that you need to look at technical definitions, carry over all of the important pieces, not just like the added increase, but really like get like search for a more fuller understanding of the concepts to nail these down really tough. Cool. Yeah, Mayor's saying like they got a 322 first attempt. The test was not hard. Need help with like what is the first thing the BCBA should do? Yeah, for sure. And like with those like understanding like the first thing that they should do, it's a lot about understanding like different priorities of things. And if you understand the concepts really well, we're gonna know like what concepts work better in which situations, or like which priorities need to be addressed first before I consider weaker priorities. So getting really strong fundamentals is key to everything. So I think that's something that I'm really good at teaching, is a different look or a more fuller look at different fundamental concepts like the basic contingencies. And we're gonna have a preview course coming out in early January, and it's gonna be covering fundamental concepts. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be really cool. Alrighty, let's talk about a little bit further up on this range. So let's talk about like the 340 to 370 range. So a lot of different things can happen in this range. So I would say like at this range, like there's a good understanding of about like 50 to 75% of topics. And then there's often like a couple weak areas with these students. What I'm finding is that most of these students are either like, it's either that they're like measurement experimental design weak, or that they are, it's like one of these three things. They're either measurement experimental design weak, or they're concepts and principles weak, or their applications week. And you kind of have to approach all of these a little bit differently. I've got great videos for measurement and experimental design, so I would just watch Nick videos and make sure you're participating and understanding like the utility. So like understand. I'm gonna say like that's the main thing, is like understand like how each like measurement or design works, as well as like which situations are you going to use each. If you can master that, you're good to go with measurement experimental design. And these tend to be a little bit more abstract, and if you're not a very good math person, these tend to be a little bit more difficult for people. If your concepts and principles weak, what I usually find is that this is like often people who have done lots of applied work, So it kind of makes sense. Like they're able to get like the applications down really well usually, but like going back to like the really basic concepts is more difficult. So I would definitely, very similar to like this, what you would do for this range is like go back to like your fundamental concepts and just make sure that you get those super tight. If your application's weak, this is where you need like more scenario questions. So kind of like work off the task list or the test content outline for like what to prioritize in treatments. And then like what you should do is like practice with case examples. You can either do it with case examples or lots of mock questions. So yeah, this can be really helpful. Just kind of like run through a case and be like, okay, like I'm doing X assessment, and then like pretend I get, okay, this is the result. What is going to be the next move from there? What could we predict what happened from there? This is a really good exercise to do with a partner as well. So if you have somebody else that you're studying with, and or like any friends in the Power Preppers group, this is a really great thing to kind of just bounce ideas off of. Be like, okay, yeah, Johnny, like he's been hitting everybody. So we did an FBA, like indirect assessment, suggests attention. We confirmed that with some observations, some ABC data. Okay, so what might be our next move from there? So talk about like different options, like, okay, is this feasible in this setting? Is this feasible in that setting? So think about like all those different things. It can be a really great exercise to tighten up. All right, let's talk about the 370 to 385 range real quick. Actually, we could just like make this the 370 to 398 range. So this is like you're like really close. If you are a little bit like closer to 370, like I would still focus on some of these things as well. So maybe we'll extend this range. We'll do it 375. I like that. I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. So if you're 375 to 378, you're really close. What you need to do is just like practice mock questions almost exclusively. With your mock questions, just make sure you're spending time digesting the feedback of like all the mock questions. And like not just the ones you got incorrect as well. So it should be all the questions, because you're going to see the ones that you had like a close call in, for example. So yeah, if you like had a close call and you like almost selected the wrong answer but you got it right, you would want to understand that feedback as well. So like if it's like the really silly easy questions where it's like, yeah, that was just a definition, I got it, like, yeah, you don't need to spend too much time with that, but you need to be digesting the feedback from all of your mock questions, or else you're really just not getting the most out of these tools. So yeah, boohoo. Spend more time with your feedback, and our materials have really good feedback here too, so pretty awesome. All right, yeah, a lot of people like in this last range here, yeah, Eileen 392 the last one. Yeah, so if you're 396, that's it's only 2 questions off. Yeah, because each question's about 2.8. So really 2 questions off at 396. You're so close. And yeah, at this point, like pretty much exclusively go to mock exams and spend time with the feedback. And then if you note like the error for a question was a knowledge gap, then fill that gap. So yeah, pretty straightforward. That's why going through the feedback is so important, because you need to know if something was a knowledge gap, and that's the easiest thing to fix. So that's where you just go back in Cooper, read through some definitions, and you're good to go. All right, we're running out of time here, so let's keep going. We'll see if Karen shows up. I haven't heard anything back from her yet, so we'll see if she shows up on the stream. If you're here, Karen, you should have a Zoom link in your email. All right, so let's keep going for this. So factors to consider for your preparation. So you should consider, like, first of all, like what your score is. So this is going to like determine how you should prepare. And yeah, I just kind of outlined all of that up here. So also, if you want to purchase the notes for this session, you can purchase them on the shop as well. They're going to be just $5. You can get all of these notes into a nice, clean document for you afterwards. All right, so some factors to consider. So first of all, what your score is. That determines like how you should be preparing. So like which activities. And we just reviewed that a pretty good amount. So some other things to consider is like how quality your supervision and coursework experience was. So you can either get set up really nicely or you can get like totally screwed by either your coursework or your supervision. With a lot of programs, especially like some of these online programs, it's really possible to just skate by and like not have to do a whole lot. But hopefully that wasn't you during grad school. Hopefully you did all of the assignments no matter what, read all the articles. I know it's kind of hard to keep up with everything, but hopefully you had a good experience with your coursework and took as much as you could out of it. Your supervision experience, again, it can either make or break you. Like you can have a really quality supervision experience where you go to like a lot of different settings, learn a lot of different skills, or you can just be like half direct and or 40% direct, and then just be not doing like as fulfilling of activities. So it really depends. This is going to play a really big factor in how much you're going to need to prepare. So like for me, I was really spoiled. I went to Western Michigan University, and like they didn't even really teach out of the Cooper book. I think I read like 2 chapters out of the Cooper book during my courses. But yeah, I didn't even study for the exam. I think I studied for like an hour for the exam total and then passed it on my first attempt. So like that really set me up for success. I know not everybody's that lucky, and that's why I'm trying to share with you all of my knowledge about how to pass the exam, because I've helped so many people do this. For sure. Another thing to consider, and I hope I don't offend anybody here, but this is kind of just like the nature of getting older. But think about like your age and retention. So I've definitely like seen with my older students that sometimes it takes a little bit like more practice, more active opportunities to get certain topics to stick with them. So I would say like if you're older and or like noticing like any like cognitive decline, then like think about like how much like maintenance prep to do. For older, it's really difficult to say. Like I've seen, like I'm 32. I've seen people at my age slow down. I've seen some really bright 50-year-olds as well, and like they're not any slower. But in general, I would say like anybody above like 40. And I'm going to regret this when I'm 48 years from now, but I'm going to say anybody above 40 usually is going to need some extra practice and some extra drilling. So think about age and retention. I have a video on like space repetition, which is a memory technique. And essentially like what this is just like practicing practicing like a skill to at a successful level with like different latents or I'm saying like constantly expanding inner response times. So like for example, if I'm learning something new, like if I'm learning a new fact, let's just say like the mantis shrimp can see out of like more colors than us. I'm just telling you like a random fact. So if I was trying to remember that fact, I might repeat it to myself. So like repeat or practice the skill with like these IRTs. So you might do it like 5 minutes from originally learning. and then you might expand that to like 20 minutes later, and then you might expand that to like an hour later, then you might expand that to like 3 hours later, and then maybe get into like a 12-hour routine. So if you're studying at night, you're like looking at it in the morning and remembering this. So by adding this repetition in early, kind of just think about like a reinforcement principle, like practice makes permanent. So if we practice this with like these increasing latencies, but kind of like stack it up, so there's a lot of practice earlier on, this can help you maintain your reading a lot, or like your memory a lot better. I made a video on this. I think this was like the last video I made before I like went deep into studying. Into like BCBA studying test prep again. But yeah, definitely check that video out on spaced repetition. It's pretty cool. Karen, yeah, I need you in the Zoom call. I don't see you on the Zoom. I sent you an email. I'm glad you're here in chat. But yeah, Karen, come on the Zoom call and then we can talk about whatever you want. I'm glad you're here. All right, while we wait for Karen, I see you on YouTube. I don't see you on Zoom. But yeah, Karen, if you prefer to communicate through the chat, or at least like while you're okay, well, let's see. Somebody else here. I see 2 Akitas, but I don't see Karen. All right. Well, Karen, if you wanted to give us the start of your topics while you're figuring that out, feel free to shout those in chat. All right. Yeah, no worries. All right, we're going to continue this stuff while we're waiting for Karen here. So yeah, this is a good way to kind of like set up your practice. And what I would focus on, like if you're older, especially if you've noticed that like your retention hasn't been so great when you've been studying, then I would take on fewer topics at a time and like focus on the maintenance of them. So kind of like it's going to be like tortoise versus the hare kind of race. So yeah, you could jump around to every topic and hit every topic as fast as you can. But if you have like retention issues, the tortoise like getting really good at one topic is going to be at a time, and memorizing it and making it stick is going to be better than going to all the topics very quickly. Yeah, Katarina was asking if we can get the notes from this. The notes are available on the shop, so you can get them on the shop. They're going to be $5 for the notes. They're going to be really good notes today. Sounds good, Karen. I can send that again too. All right. Cool. All right. So yeah, we're waiting for Karen here. Akita, I saw your email there. Do you still want to come on? We had Kelsey. She had an allergic reaction this morning, so she's not going to come on. This falling apart a little bit, but that's okay. We'll still go over Kelsey's basic contingencies then, and then if Akita doesn't want to come on, that's okay too. We can go over schedules of reinforcement then as well. So gonna be fun stuff. All right, let's go talk about these things and like how should this relate to your preparation. So depending on like how much time you're able to commit to preparation. What you should really focus on is you want to go over quality over quantity of studying. So for this quality over quantity, let's define like really quality studying. So this is going to be studying that involves active participation for better learning. So good examples of this are going to be like mock exams. So a lot of people like these because it's great to just kind of go over things and get tested on questions. And but again, what you really need to do is focus on the feedback and understand why you're getting things wrong. So there can be a lot of different reasons. What you should kind of do is do like a little FBA on yourself. So here are like some possible reasons or common reasons people get things wrong on questions. So it could be a knowledge gap. These are usually preferred because if you just didn't know something, then just learn it the right way and then easy peasy. It could be that you like misunderstood a concept. It could be that you misread the question. So this is really common. Like what you need to do is just like practice like reading and double reading the answers to the questions. Or sorry, like the last sentence of the questions. So yeah, misreading the question, really common. That's a really good strategy to try to overcome that, is just reread that question several times and making sure that your answer aligns with what you're actually being asked about. Yeah, RTFQ in chat for sure. Yeah, highlighting it can help for sure. Yeah, Jeanette, that's right. 500 points is total. You need 400 to pass. So I think it's really important, and not everybody does this. Like, do a little bit of an FBA on why you got certain answers incorrect. That's what's really going to help you out here. So you can avoid those errors in the future. You can also just like be like miss like a knot, or like worst or best. So make sure you're just reading that really carefully. Cool. So yeah, definitely think about quality over quantity. As far as like how much you should be preparing, like how much you're preparing is going to be to depend on like how long you have until your exam and where you're at. So what I'm noticing is that like you can like if you're like you can jump about like reasonable expectations for like kicking ass studying. This is going to be like about like 20 points a month or so. And this is a subjective number. This is not going to characterize everybody. Things are going to be, some people are going to be faster, some people are going to be slower than this. But about 20 points a month for studying is like a really like kick-ass rate for improvement. So I've seen some people like have messaged me before where they're like, hey, I scored a 340 and I'm going to test next month. Like, do you think I have a chance? And like the honest answer is probably not, because you're trying to improve like 60 points in a month, where really like as far as you push, it's going to be about 20 points a month. Like unless you're like straight up like quitting your job and like going to like 10 hours a day and like getting a good tutor that you're meeting with like multiple times a week, like that's going to be an outlier, and you might be able to improve a little bit more than that, but that's about like the pace you can expect. And again, some people are going to be way different from this, and if the lower that you are as well, I think that you have like the more opportunity to grow, kind of like with like weight loss. Like if you like are already like really heavy, it's easier to lose that weight, but like trying to like lose let's say somebody like they used to be 200 pounds and like their goal weight is to get to be 130 pounds. So once they lose 50 pounds, like that first 50 pounds is kind of easy, but that last 20 gets a little bit harder because like it takes harder work to grind that last level. And that's kind of the same with the exam. Like oftentimes like people get stuck in that 380 to 400 range just because that last bit is a little bit harder to grind out, because you need to be practicing with questions and making sure that you are getting super fluent. Cool. Alrighty. So we're going to take a pause on this topic, but we might get back to it in a little bit. Karen has in chat, she couldn't find the Zoom, but wants to talk a little bit about measurements and when to use them. So yeah, we can do a little bit of a speed run on this since we've only got a few more minutes left until Akita comes on. So yeah, let's talk about measurements and when to use them. So there's two main criteria or two main features that you want to focus on when choosing a measurement procedure. The first is that it's going to be a valid measurement. And tell me in chat real quick, what does a valid measurement mean? The other part of this is that we want to use measurements that are like physically feasible for the individual, so who's taking data. So we're gonna say like physically feasible for your data collector, like given their other responsibilities. Cool, yeah, I'm seeing some good answers in chat. Yeah, Devin, measuring what's supposed to be, what you intend to measure, Carly. Yeah, Robin, I like that. It's like appropriate for the behavior. Yeah, Patricia, I like the phrase you had there, relevant dimension. Who wants to put that term in a dimensional, in like full sentence here? Yeah, Danielle, I like where you're going. Is it Nikot? Looking really good there with that answer. Good. So yeah, we're gonna say like our like measurement captures a relevant dimension of the behavior. So we got two different types of measurements. We've got continuous measurements, and then we have discontinuous measurements. Let's go over some basic rules for the starting one. So we have frequency and rate. So first of all, let's get a definition. So this is just like number of times a behavior occurs versus rate, which is number of times a behavior occurs over a unit of time. So as far as like utility for these, like we want to like capture behaviors that are about the same duration per episode. So think about like a punch. Like a punch is like always just like a half-second thing. Or if we think about like a gym workout, like for me, like a workout's a workout. Like I do about the same thing every single time. So that's like a decent measurement for there because like each episode lasts about the same amount of time. Now, when we're thinking about frequency, this is just like a total number of of instances, where rate is going to be a little bit different. So it tells you the same kind of behaviors. So it captures behaviors that are about like the same duration per episode. But what this does, instead of looking at the total number of behavior, it's more about the speed of the behavior. So think about like when is each of these more important, and that's gonna like lead to your situation of like what's more valid. So if I ask you like how many roller coasters did you ride at the theme park, it'd probably make more sense to report it as a frequency than a rate. So I'm gonna say like I rode 8 roller coasters and not like 3.2 roller coasters per hour. So one just makes more sense than the other, and that's what we want to compare for like our validity is it looking at the total number, or is it we're looking at more about the speed of the behavior? All right, we're speed running through this. I don't think we're going to get through them all, but we'll go for duration. This is the time from the start to the end of the behavior. As far as utility, what we're going to want to do is reuse this for behaviors that differ in duration. So it makes sense if a tantrum can last anywhere from like a minute to an hour, we want to capture like how long that actually occurs for. Where like if we are just told like 4 tantrums happened, well, that doesn't tell me like, hey, was that 4 minutes of tantruming or was that 4 hours of tantruming? So that in that case, the frequency would be invalid, but duration would be more valid for that behavior. Latency, we have this is the time from the onset of a stimulus to the start of the behavior. So, pretty straightforward here. It's like when stimulus is presented, then we start a timer, and then it's how long it takes for the behavior to start. So utility, pretty straightforward. It's like use when the behavior occurring to the onset of the stimulus is either too quick or too slow. All right, then we have IRT, which is our inner response time. This is the time from the end of one instance of behavior to the start of the next. So utility for this one, we often use this to like set criteria for interval-based procedures. So like examples of this would be like if we're doing like a DRL or an NCR or a DRO, something like that. Pretty useful tool there. And this also kind of captures relates and captures speed of behavior. So yeah, like we like pan out our different inner response times, and we're able to calculate a frequency or rate from IRT data. Yeah, so yeah, Karen's saying like she understands the definitions, but it's more about like when to choose them in the situations. So yeah, like that's where you really want to focus on the utility of all of these. So like looking at this question and seeing like, okay, am I more interested in like the total number of instances or the speed of the behavior? If I'm more interested in the speed of the behavior, then rate is going to make more sense. But if I'm more interested in like the total number of instances, then frequency is going to make more sense. So really focus on like the utility sections if you're trying to like learn about when to use these, because that's gonna get you to your answers, and that's where a lot of people are missing out. It's like they know the definitions of these, but think about more about the utility of these, like which situations am I gonna use this for. Awesome, cool, Karen. Glad you enjoyed that. Akita is in my Zoom room. Let's see if they sent me an email saying they might not want to come on. So I'm gonna let them in and see what happens. Hey, Akita, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Actually, try again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are good to go. Awesome. Let me share my screen over. Actually, try again. Actually, yeah. Do you have headphones? I'm getting some echo. Let me share my screen over. Actually, try again. Actually, yeah. Do you have headphones? I'm getting some echo.
I do. Maybe I need to take them.
All right. Yeah, we're getting some echo on the audio. We're gonna fix that real quick.
I think I'm good to go.
All right. Yeah. Actually, if you have the stream open, just mute the stream too. I think that'll help.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Akita. I've got you on the stream now. I'm gonna share my screen over here. So you can see what we're talking about. So yeah, I had that. You wanted to go over schedules of reinforcement. Is that still sounding good for today?
Yes, I'm having a really hard time dissecting the questions for a schedule of reinforcement.
All right. Well, let's start by like going over each type. What I like to do is like break down each of the individual words for the schedules of reinforcement. So we've got fixed schedules, we've got variable schedules, we have interval schedules, ratio schedules, and time schedules. So let's take these like one word at a time. When we have a fixed schedule, what does that refer to?
A set amount.
Cool. And like what about a set amount?
I just lost the video, but a set amount meaning like say if you give reinforcement after each correct
Oh no. Here, let me try sharing it again. And here, let me get the sound back on too.
We're good. We're good.
All right. Yeah, we'll get this all set.
We're good. I don't want to mess with your video. We're good.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna share my screen over. So watch it on that because that's gonna be more real time than the stream.
Okay.
All right. Cool. I think we got Akita in there. All right, cool. So yeah, so fixed, we have like a set amount. So yeah, we'll leave it up there for now. And then what about like a variable schedule?
So variable is average, and a key term that I was taught is about.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
so
like
yes.
average amount and yeah, like keyword about. For sure. All right. How does an interval schedule work?
Interval is the amount of time. I'm looking at my notes. And a response.
Okay, so when does the response have to occur in like relation to the time?
So say if it's 5 minutes, then the time has to elapse, and then the correct response and then reinforcement.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, it's the time passes, then the response, then reinforcement. Good. So yeah, if we can put this in a definition, it's like reinforcement occurs. Can you feel that? Can you finish the rest for me?
After the time has passed and the correct response.
After the time has passed and the correct response has occurred.
I believe it's the first correct response.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, we'll say like the first correct response has occurred. Good. Awesome. Looks good. How about ratio?
I just have responses for ratio.
Cool. And what about the responses?
So after the correct response, or is it? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so when we're thinking about like schedules of reinforcement, it's essentially like different ways reinforcement can be delivered. So connecting that with like the ratio, like how do we connect those two things? Like it's a ratio schedule of reinforcement.
So I feel like that will also is not set. So is it also an average?
So average and set amount are going to be either fixed or variable. So we're talking about a ratio schedule. So whether it's fixed or variable, what is it really referring to?
The amount of time? I'm not understanding the question.
Not amount of time. What's that?
The number of responses?
Good. Yeah, perfect. So what occurs after like a certain number of responses?
Reinforcement.
Good. Yeah. So reinforcement occurs after a certain number of responses. Awesome. Then how does that differ from a time schedule?
Because time is it's a certain amount of time, not the responses. It's just like a time.
Good. So yeah, we're going to say reinforcers are delivered after a period of time. Cool. And why do you think I said reinforcers instead of reinforcement for time versus like an interval schedule?
Reinforcers are delivered after a period of time. Why reinforcers and I guess because it can be sporadic reinforcers. It's different reinforcement. It's not just the same reinforcement after that time. It can be like all over. I'm not too sure how to answer that either.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, the key difference that we're looking at is that these are delivered after time alone, where these are delivered after a response. So remember, reinforcement is always a connection between a behavior and a consequence, so it's going to relate to that response. So yeah, after time schedule, it's not really reinforcement because it's delivered after time alone. It doesn't matter the behavior. Where interval and ratio schedules, it's delivered after the response. So that's what makes it reinforcement.
So time is the only one that's just time alone, and you said interval and...
Yeah, so these are to our reinforcement, but we can think about the time schedule as just reinforcer delivery. instead of reinforcement, since a response is not required for the reinforcer to occur.
Okay.
Cool, cool.
Mhm.
All right. So, yeah, let's go over these real quick. So, we have our, so either all these schedules either going to be fixed or variable, and then we have interval, ratio, and time. I actually have a couple different ways that we could go about this. I have a PowerPoint that I can bring up that has like some questions. We can either like look at the graphs and talk about like how these schedules turn into cumulative records, or we could talk about like questions like identifying the schedules. Which would you prefer?
I think talking about identifying the schedules, but I'd rather listen to them than trying to talk it out because, again, I have trouble with that. So I need to see how it's broken down and how you would explain it.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, let's go ahead. I'm gonna share this PowerPoint over actually. Share. Ooh. Trying to see how to do this on my stream without cutting things off. Okay, I think we're good actually. It's not too bad. All right, so we've got a couple different schedules here, and we have the meaning of each of these terms. So we have like fixed and is always the same amount. So whether we're dealing with time or responses, is always going to be that same amount. Variable, we have averages to an amount. Interval schedule is it's the reinforcement for the first response after a period of time. And then ratio, we have reinforcement after a number of responses. So let's check this first one out. About every 3 times that Alex asks someone out, they successfully land a date. So we need to pick fixed or variable, and then either interval or ratio. So where do you think we're going to start off with fixed or variable?
Well, because it says about, I feel like that's the key word that I was told to look at. So that would be variable.
Good. Yeah, that about every 3 times. So it means it's not always after 3 times. It can average out. It can be a different number. So yeah, variable here. And then is this more interval or ratio based?
They successfully what? Land a date. So that's the reinforcement.
Yep. Cool, yeah, chat. What's that?
After the number of responses. So interval?
So why interval?
I'm not sure. That's why I said I would like for you to help me dissect them.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So yeah, what we want to look at is if there is time involved. So if it's one response after a period of time, or if it's based off of the number of responses. So if it says about every 3 times, which one do you think that more relates to, interval or ratio?
Reinforcements and number of responses, ratio.
Good. Yeah, this one's going to be variable ratio. So variable because we saw the about every 3 times, and then we saw that's based more off of the number of responses, not there wasn't a period of time that we're looking at that related to the response. So we didn't have to see interval. All right. Ready for this next one?
Sure.
All right. So after 1 to 3 minutes, you can change your channel back to the show that you were watching, and it will be back on after the commercials. So yeah, let's first look at our fixed or variable. Any idea there?
After 1 to 3 minutes, fixed. You can change the channel back to the show you were watching.
Yeah, so after 1 to 3 minutes, is that always the same amount of time, or would that be like an average period of time?
Average, variable.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's going to be more like an average period of time, so we'll go for variable. And then we want to look at, was it based off of the number of times he engages the response, or is it after one response after a period of time that was more relevant?
After a number. After... You change your channel back to the show you were watching, and it will be back on after the commercials.
Yeah, so is it more about how many times he flips the channel, or is it about like waiting for the right time to flip the channel?
Say that again.
Yeah, so is it more about like how many times he changes the channel, or is it more about like changing the channel at the right time?
Changing it at the right time.
Cool. So which one does that more relate to, interval or ratio?
Interval.
Good. Yeah, that's going to be interval. So putting it all together, we have variable interval here. So it's about 2 minutes because we have that range of 1 to 3 minutes. And then it's based off of the time passing and then him hitting it at the right time. And notice that it's not ratio because it's not like if he like flips the channel like 15 times that it just magically comes on. He still has to wait for that to come on.
Okay.
Cool, cool. All right. How about this next one? So we have for every 100 packages that the Amazon worker ships, they get a raffle ticket to a drawing for $500. So let's start with fixed or variable here. So always same amount, or does this average to an amount?
It's the same, so fixed.
Good. Yeah, this is fixed. It's always 100 packages. And then interval or ratio. So yeah, check out those definitions and which one is a better line up with.
A raffle ticket to a drawing. Ratio is after the responses ratio.
Good. Yeah. So it's based off of how many responses occurs. That's going to make it ratio. So every 100 packages, so it's always 100, and it's based off of how many he does. So that makes it ratio. All right, last one here. Let's check it out. So anytime you go on Candy Crush and click the daily reward button, you receive a reward and a 24-hour cooldown before you can do it again. Yep, so take it one step at a time. Start with fixed or variable, and then go for interval or ratio.
So every time it's fixed. Oh, anytime you go on Candy Crush and click the reward? Yeah, fixed.
Okay.
And then 20, you receive a reward in 24 hours. So after the period, so fixed interval?
Good. Yeah, this one is fixed interval. So the fixed part of it is actually this 24-hour period. So it's always 24 hours, like since the last reinforcer got delivered. So that's the fixed part of it. And then interval, we see that it's the period of time, then the response occurs after that period of time. Cool, cool?
Yep. I have the written down. I have the breakdown, but I don't have that during the test, so it's still. But I guess I'll just keep going over it.
For sure. Yeah, more practice always helps. So we talked a little bit about our time schedules earlier. So I've got a few more of these that we can go over that these are either interval or they're time schedules. Do you remember the key difference between these two?
Time is delivered after a period.
Yep, good. And then how does that differ for interval again?
Interval record it occurs after the time has passed.
And
then the reinforcement.
And then the behavior occurs.
Oh, and then behavior occurs.
Yep, so it's time passing, then the response occurs, then the reinforcement occurs for interval. Okay. Cool, cool. So in these ones, we want to look at are these either time or are they interval schedules? So is it based off, is the reinforcer delivered after time alone, or was it that it became available after a period of time, now they can obtain the reinforcer? So Lexi, my pup, she gets butt scratches from Nick about every 30 minutes. What do you think about this one? So is it time or interval?
You said for interval, it's the reinforcement occurs and then.
So time passes, response occurs, then reinforcement. So reinforcement's always response, then consequence.
I don't know. I would say time.
Yeah, why do you think time?
Because it says deliver after the period.
Good. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, Lexi doesn't have to do anything to get the butt scratches. It's just after the time alone, she gets those butt scratches. So no response was required, which makes that time. Cool. I think you're getting these. I think you're getting them. Let's check the next one. So anytime you go on Candy Crush and click the daily reward button, you receive a reward. The game also tells you how much time until midnight when you can receive your reward again. So how about this one? Is this more time or interval?
I'm sorry. There's a lot going on in my background. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, take your time. Cool. Yeah.
Anytime you go on Candy Crush and click the daily reward button, you receive a reward. I think we just did this. The time also tells you how much time remains.
And this one's a little bit different, but similar.
Um, I'm not too sure. I'm gonna go with interval.
Good. So it is an interval schedule. So yeah, there's one key difference between interval schedule and time schedule. What is that key difference that brought you there?
Mm,
So yeah, you're absolutely right. This is an interval schedule.
Click it where you receive a word. The game also tells you how much time remains until midnight when you can receive another one. So that time that you're able to receive another one.
So the time part, like both interval and time schedules have a period of time in it. Um, the key difference that we want to focus on is that it was after the response. So again, that's what was our reinforcement versus this is not reinforcement where they click the daily reward button, so they engage in the response, then they get the reward. Where this one, Lexi didn't do anything; she just got the reward for nothing.
Okay.
Cool, cool. All right. Yeah. How about we do one more of these? So, Paul's teacher lets him go to the bathroom after he asks about every hour. So, time or interval here?
He just asks after every hour, so time.
So, was a response required?
Paul's teacher let him go to the bathroom after he asks. He asks after every hour, so interval.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, with the response here, this makes it interval since the consequence is provided after the response. Cool, cool.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much for hopping on, Akita. I'll get you all the notes that we to go over today in your email later.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Cool, cool, cool. Well, thanks so much to Akita for coming on. We had Kelsey was gonna be on next, but she had an allergic reaction, so hopefully everything is good with that. Why don't we take the first part of her time to do a little giveaway? Oh, I'm looking over here. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, let's do a little giveaway right now. Let's get back to OneNote over here. What are we feeling? What are we feeling? What should we give away, crew? Oh, I have so many different windows up. There's so much going on. What should we give away? I think we should give away something good. All right. A lot of people are saying okay. A lot of people saying beat the beast too. All right. How about we'll give away either beat the beast. So if you win this, you're gonna win either beat the beast. So if you want beat the beast 1 or 2, you are welcome to either of those. Let's do it. All right. Yeah, let's do number 1 to 500. This wants me to verify I'm human. I am human. Yeah, Karen, do you have any question about the fluency questions? It's a good time for that. So yeah, this giveaway here is going to be for either Beat the Beast, so either Beat the Beast 1 or Beat the Beast 2. Thanks so much. There's already been a few orders during this stream already. So the more orders that we see during this stream, the more stuff we'll have to give away. So I think we're at like a 2 right now. So as far as like the mock bundles. So also right now, if you have the means and are interested in the mock bundles, right now, if you purchase either mock bundle, so any of these three, you can get the fluency questions absolutely for free on top of that. All right. Cool. Lots of people picking numbers in chat. Love to see it. All right. Let's pick it out. 1 to 500. Here we go. We'll make Coffer Watisha the last one. All right. So we've got 451. Oh, we had a couple 444s. That's pretty close. Help me out. Help me find our winner in chat. 451. We had two people at 444. They might be the closest. They're like right after each other too. Wait. Oh wait. Oh wait. No. Shanaz had four. Oh, we had two 450s. How did I miss that? There's two 450s. Oh my gosh. The pressure is on. Let's see. Yeah, we've got Shanaz here. Who else had 450? Mayor. I saw that. Yeah, Mayor too. Awesome. Well, those are going to be our winners. Congrats to both of y'all. Let me get you on my board real quick. Congratulations. So yeah, you all just won a copy of the Beat the Beast mock exam. Congratulations. To claim it, just send me an email at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com. Sal R had it too. Let's see. Where's Sal? I don't see Sal. Oh yeah, Sal R did have it too. Well, that's crazy. A three-way tie, just one off from it. All right. Crazy, crazy. We'll add Sal to that list too. Congratulations. Crazy stuff that happens at the Behavior Binge Bonanza. We already gave away 3 mock exams. Congratulations. Awesome, awesome. Gabrielle's asking, do I do tutoring? Not at the moment. No, I don't do tutoring. But we do these streams, and they're pretty fun. So that's what's up. All right. So yeah, Kelsey had to bail out for today, but she wanted to go over basic contingencies, which is really awesome because this is one of my favorite topics. So a lot of things that go in with our basic contingencies. 352 was not close. It was 450. All right. All right. So yeah, let's talk about basic contingencies here, guys. So we talked a little bit about it with Akita as well. So one thing that a lot of people miss about like our basic contingencies is what they essentially are is this is a relationship between an antecedent behavior and a consequence. Let's talk about another term here. So really important term is the law of effect. Tell me in chat if you have ever heard of this one, the law of effect. Oh, Renia had 452? I think that was too late. Let me double check chat. Yeah, I don't see the 452. Sorry. All right. Well, anyway, let's go through. We're going to go back and focus on basic contingencies now. So let's go over the law of effect. This states that the effects of our actions determine whether or not they will be repeated. So a couple things I want to focus on here is that with the law of effect, it states that the effects of our actions. So what the effects are referring to is the consequences of our actions. So the things produced by our actions are the things that are taken away by our actions. And these determine. So this word determine, this means that this is has a mathematical and scientific relationship with our next subject here. So whether they will be repeated, this relates to our main measurements of data, which are rate and probability. Skinner talks about like how rate is really like the only good measurement that that we can use to like determine behavior. But anyway, we won't get that deep today. So just breaking down this definition, so it's talking about the consequence of our action determined in this mathematical way whether we're going to continue to engage in behavior. And think about like behavior from like this deterministic perspective. Is that basically like our contingencies control everything, control everything about our behavior, and like how like they're input into our organism. So let's go through our basic contingencies, kind of like our basic schedules. I like to go through these terms one at a time. So here are our basic terms. We have our positive, negative, reinforcement, and punishment. So I was hinted to a little bit earlier that a lot of people miss off these positive negative definitions is that this is when a stimulus is added after a behavior. So really focus on this word after. So it's produced by or like contingent from. That's going to put the opposite of for our negative here. So we have a stimulus is removed after a behavior. Again, focusing on that after. So it happens at a really particular part. It's not just like added or removed at a random time. It's added or removed right after this behavior. Reinforcement. So this results in an increased future rate of that behavior. And then we have punishment. So this results in a decreased future rate of that behavior. Let's also go through like the difference between reinforcer and reinforcement. So a reinforcer, this is a stimulus that increases frequency of a response that follows. So that's all it really is. So if I'm looking at like drinking water, then I might say like water is a reinforcer. This differs from reinforcement because reinforcement is the whole shebang, the whole contingency, not just the stimulus. So reinforcement is like a stimulus change produced by a behavior, or let's say contingent on a behavior, that increases the future frequency of that behavior. So really focus on this part. Is like it's stimulus change contingent on a behavior. So like another way you could phrase that is like it's a relation between a behavior and a consequence that increases the future rate of that behavior. So what we would call here is like drinking water is reinforcement. And then the way we might diagram that is that we have like no water in mouth. We drink the water, and then we have water in mouth. So that's going to be like how we might diagram this. I was just like to look at our antecedent as like the opposite of our consequence, so we can see like the change in the stimuli here. There's going to be lots of different antecedents, but like just looking at like the basic one, it's always going to be related to our consequence here. So this whole drinking water is reinforcement, where water is just the reinforcer. And it's really important to know the difference between these two because like we can have reinforcement that doesn't involve reinforcers. Let's go through some basic examples real quick. So using like the way that we wrote this definitions that we can actually get our definitions of our contingencies really easily. So we just need to do like some copy pasting. So if we want to get positive reinforcement, we have a stimulus is added after that behavior, and this results in future rate of that behavior. So pretty straightforward. We had our drinking water example. Let's see some other examples in chat. Quick examples of reinforcement, positive reinforcement. We'll just do example time. So we had no water, drink water. Now you have water. Also with this, it might be like it's say like that I'm like warm. And now I'm like drink water. Actually, I don't like this one as much. We'll stick with your examples. What do you guys got here? So yeah, a lot of people are saying like reinforcement is a process. Good. So yeah, we have like just social praise. Like that social praise is a reinforcer. Right now we're trying to get examples of reinforcement. So if we want reinforcement, we need to do our whole ABCs here. So it should be no stimulus. We have behavior occurs and then stimulus is presented. Cool, yeah, I like Jennifer's here. So we have like no iPad time, complete 5 questions. Now we have our iPad time. And even though this is like a kind of a longer behavior, like complete 5 questions, since it's like one response unit and it's still a valid response unit, like related to this consequence, we can use that as our behavior here. Future effect of this is going to increase future rate of completing questions. Good. What else we got? Cool. Yeah. Selena's got a real basic one. So we have like no light, turn on light. I love basic examples. So like definitely a good thing here. Now we have light. So really simple here. And this is going to increase future rate of turning on lights. Cool. Like we've got a social one here. So the completing 5 questions resulting in iPad. This was social. This one's more automatic. Good. Cool. Yeah, let's look at this next one here. So we have that we're like hungry. So we can also look at this like no food. Our behavior is that we like make breakfast. And our consequence here that Emily had is like you're eat and full. So this one like doesn't really have like a contingent relationship here. So if we cook breakfast, like the consequence isn't eating then full because this would be like another stimulus another behavior that we'd have to analyze separately. So like we cook breakfast and now we have breakfast. So food. And then we want to look at eating as a different behavior. So like we have eat breakfast. Now this would be full. So no, like this, like different behaviors have different consequences. So we want to look at like the units that are most relevant to each. All right, cool. Looks good for positive reinforcement. Let's go to negative reinforcement real quick. Probably won't get through all these, but let's do our best. Again, we can copy paste our definition. So for negative reinforcement, we have a stimulus is removed after behavior. And this is going to result in more of that behavior. So if we think about this, if we're causing a behavior, or so we're making something go away because of our behavior, and now this behavior happens more frequently in the future, is the thing that we're making go away, is this like a preferred stimulus or an aversive stimulus? What do you guys think? So question right now is that if we're looking at a stimulus being removed after a behavior, and now we do that behavior more frequently, is this going to be a preferred or an aversive stimulus that's being removed? Good. Yeah, like where people are going in chat. I like where we're going. So yeah, in this one, we have an aversive stimulus is removed after the behavior. So this is how we have reinforcement without reinforcers. Is that when we make bad things go away, kind of like the basic logic of this is like when we make bad things go away, when our actions make bad things go away, we'll do those actions more. Cool. I like there's some good examples already in chat. So I saw like I think it was sweaty feet, take off socks, no sweaty feet. So yeah, this is really good. We see like a verse of sweaty feet removed because of the behavior, and the future effect is going to increase the rate of that behavior. All right, yeah, looks good. Let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, I always like encourage when we're coming up with examples like this. It's always helpful to come up with really original examples. So probably not the ones I've heard a million times. That's why I went to listen one. It was a little clever. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I like this one here. So Nadia's got like you've got sunshine in face. Put on your sunglasses. Now we've got less sunshine in face. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, that one looks good. Awesome. And yeah, this is gonna increase future rate of putting on sunglasses. All right. Razia is supposed to come on soon. I haven't heard anything from her, so we'll see if she actually does. Razia, are you here on stream? She's not on Zoom. Let's see what else. We'll take a vote if we want to continue with our, if she doesn't show up, if we want to continue with our basic contingency stuff, or if we want to pick something else. Also, if somebody wants to come on stream feeling real brave, well, we might offer that up. Talk whatever you want. The slots have already paid for. All right, let's check out the next one. So we have Allison as a good one here. So it's like we have smelly trash. We take out the trash. And now we've got no smelly trash. I like this one. Looks really good. Cool. So, yeah, this would increase rate of taking out trash. Because we don't want that smelly trash around. Cool. Christina says she's feeling brave. I think we might let Christina on. That was pretty brave. All right, let's do it. Here, Christina, I'll drop a Zoom link, and you can come on. You have to come on fast though. No, just click that link, Christina. Oh no, Karen, I emailed you twice. All right. Cool. So yeah, really big things to look out for are basic contingencies. Is that you want to look at like this response contingent stuff. So make sure that our behavior actually produces our consequence. We want to look at another thing that people get pretty mixed up on is that sometimes they'll add like the future effect to a different behavior that's in the behavior box. So don't do that. Make sure that you've got that same behavior as the one that you have in the behavior box. And yeah, focus on your positive and negative, and like get that difference between like the reinforcer and the reinforcement. All really good things to look out for. All right, looks like we've got Christina here. Let's let her in and see what's up. Hi, Christina. How's it going?
Hi, Nick. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
All
How-
right. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, taking advantage of some free slots from other people. Here, let me share my screen over, and then I'll get you on stream here.
Okay.
Do, 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 do. Yeah, what are you feeling? What do you want to talk about today?
Um, uh, what's it called? There's a certain, it's like personnel. It's like not my favorite type of topic.
Oh, like supervision?
Yeah, supervision personnel.
Oh,
That's just like not my specialty.
that's all right. Well, it's not really my specialty either, but we'll certainly go over it. All right. Well, cool. Let's go over some supervision stuff. Yeah, it doesn't look like Razia's coming, so we'll make it 3 o'clock. Supervision with Christina. All right. Cool. So yeah, there's a lot that kind of goes into supervision, but like, a couple like key things to think about are like think about that we want to take a similar approach like to supervision as we do with our clients. So if we have like a performance issue, what we're gonna do is we essentially just want to like assess and target it. And the like performance issues, like as opposed to like client issues, I feel like can vary like much more significantly with our clients or with like our employees. So, so yeah, be prepared for that. We can also split up performance issues into like 2 different main categories. So we have our can't do problems, and then we have our won't do problems. So have you like gotten much supervision experience with our like within your supervision?
Yeah, I got like some pretty good supervision experience overall.
Cool. Like, so have you ever had to like give feedback to an RBT before?
Oh. No, I never really had to give feedback, but I did have to like provide training type of thing, like, like them shadowing me and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, so yeah, think about like we like for our different approaches to changing behavior is that we're gonna want to like match it to like what we assess. So if we're thinking about like training as a solution, do you think like the problem is gonna be more of a can't do or a won't do problem?
You said training as a solution. Um, Maybe can't do.
Yeah, good, good, good. So yeah, essentially, like if like the learner does not know how to engage in the skill, then the solution for that is going to be to use some kind of training. And like, what kind of training do you use for those clients or for those RBTs?
Well, like modeling.
Okay, cool. Yeah, modeling is a good strategy.
Oh, are you referring to BST, the behavioral skills training thing?
Yeah, did you like have you do you have experience using BST?
Yeah, towards parents.
Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, like what are the different steps of BST?
Okay, so we want to inform like the learner, and then we want to model to them. After we model, we want to allow them to try it themselves, like rehearsal type of thing. Then we provide feedback, and then after providing feedback, just like testing it out to see if they have the skill.
Cool. Yeah. Good, 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 good. Yeah, usually like this for like inform the learner. We'll break that into 2 different parts. What do you think are like the important parts of this?
Like talking to them or providing verbal instruction, I want to say.
Yeah, good. Like providing verbal instruction. What else is important, especially if it's like a rebellious client?
Oh boy, if it's a rebellious client, written instruction.
Yeah, well, yeah, it kind of falls under here. So like written and verbal instruction. What else?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
No worries. We'll also want to tell them like why they are
Oh,
learning the particular skill.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so like if they ever ask, like you have something to refer to, and just make sure that you're teaching important stuff too. Cool. So yeah, once we inform the learner, then we'll like go through the written and verbal instructions, like how is this skill performed. Then we'll model it, do rehearsal, feedback, and then test it out in the natural environment. So, yeah,
Okay.
looks really good there. All right, so that's only like one possible issue, and like a lot of companies have a problem of like overtraining. So they're like, oh, like they're not doing this, so the solution must be training. So we know for a fact that that's just like not not true. Like and that's why we want to like take a more systematic approach with performance issues. So what are like some other issues that you might like have seen like other RBTs have, or maybe that you even had?
Like arriving late.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps not implementing the treatment plan correctly.
Okay. Yeah, let's get those down. So arriving late, do you think that's a can't do or a won't do problem?
It could be both, but if I had to choose, I guess maybe can't do.
You think so?
Well, no, won't do because you can arrive on time. It's
Yeah,
just
for sure. Like, yeah, like everybody's got the means to arrive on time. It's just like, how bad do they want it? So, yeah, if we say like arriving late. So again, we want to like take the same kind of approach with this kind of issues that we want to kind of like assess and then target. So let's say like so yeah, like let's like even just run through like some hypothetical situations. So let's say that like traffic has been really bad recently. Like what like suggestion might you provide for them?
uh, perhaps like advice on um, getting the like leaving their house more early. So like some
Yeah.
antecedent strategies, like getting up early.
Yeah, good, good, good. So yeah, like encourage like leaving by a certain time, or like encourage getting up earlier. Good. Yeah, I think those would be great. Yeah, somebody in chat saying like go like a different route as well. Like
Yeah.
explore different routes. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of different ways that we could target that. We could also like add in like potential reinforcement systems for them being on time. So maybe like think about that as a potential solution.
Okay.
And then think about if you want to do that for like the whole company, or if you want to do that just for that individual, depending on different factors. Yeah, yeah, like Selena's got a good one there. So if it's like that they're like coming from a client's house, they have like a drive time app that can tell them more accurately.
That's
Good,
true.
good, 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 good. So yeah, this is kind of, somebody's asking why, like, what we mean by can't versus won't do. So it's kind of just two different categories to separate performance issues. But again, like the main thing that I want you to look at is like when we have any particular performance issue, we want to assess and then target it directly. So let's look at another one. So you said like not implementing a plan correctly. So let's
Yeah.
say like we just did the training for this and like we've shown mastery and we've seen them do it in the natural environment. Let's look at like what are some other potential reasons like why they're not implementing a plan like correctly.
It's possible that they don't know how to do it, you know.
So let's say we ruled that one out. So like we just did the training, we showed them how to do it, we saw them do it, and we saw them doing it after the training too. So we ruled that one out.
Okay.
So what might be some other explanations for that behavior?
Maybe it could be like treatment drift.
Yeah,
Uh,
potentially. So maybe it's like treatment drift.
yeah. Or maybe they favor some part of the the implementation of the program compared to another part.
Okay, yeah, that could be a good. That could be a possible one. So it's like they prefer doing other procedures.
Yeah, like maybe providing positive reinforcement compared to extinction, maybe.
Good, good, good. So, yeah, that's actually like a totally different one. And I think somebody mentioned this in chat too. Is that they like don't agree with the intervention?
Oh yeah, yeah. That kind of goes with that.
Yeah, it kind of goes with that too. Yeah, some people had like a couple of things like on the similar lines, or like they like don't trust their BCBA.
Well then.
I'm like, oh, we got some really bad issues if that's what's going on here. Um, yeah, if they like don't think it'll work, so I think that kind of falls under this same categories. Like they don't agree with the intervention, or like don't think it'll be effective. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so sometimes there's like cultural bias as well.
That's true.
So kind of like working with that. So like there's a lot of different possibilities for this, and like looking at like the possibilities here, like if we were just to like understand this issue and be like, okay, we should just train them. Like, is that gonna work?
Not gonna work. You have
Yeah.
to the reason why.
Yeah, yeah. So we need to tailor like our solutions towards like these possible reasons why. So if it's treatment drift, like what might be like an effective quick solution for this?
Um, Not really retraining, but perhaps modeling and also like collecting IOA data.
Yeah, good. Like quick model and IOA data. And so that could like fall into like a little bit more monitoring as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks perfect. So yeah, preferring like doing other procedures over this one. Like, what do you think about like what could we do about this one?
Well, it depends if the current procedure is like really necessary for the client because the client, you know, their benefit comes first. But I mean, just like hear the RBT out type of thing, and then maybe like provide your reasoning for why you're choosing this one. It
Mm-hmm.
depends if it's going to be flexible or not. I mean, it's possible to be flexible in choosing a different approach, but
Yeah,
it's also possible not to.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I like how like it had a nice balance answer there. So like here's the RBT out, and like discuss like the importance of the procedure,
Yeah,
and like what it will do to like frame it into like your client, like frame it like in relation to client benefit. So yeah, like sometimes like procedures are going to be more difficult than other procedures, and like it's just natural for the RBT to be like, oh, I'll do that one to the last. Like, oh no, we ran out of time, because we can't do
exactly.
that today. So I think kind of just like reframing that and talking about like how priority it is, and then also like setting clear expectations. So like maybe they really are struggling with it, and like and the client is like not having a good time with it. Maybe just be like, hey, like at least try like 3 to 5 trials of this, like on your next session, and then we can talk about it.
Okay, I like that.
So yeah, definitely listen to your RBTs. Like, I really like how you included that in your answers. Like, hear the RBT out. So like, definitely like, overall, like respect your RBTs. And they will often know more about your client than you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen to them because they just get a lot more hours. So yeah, all that looks good. So they like prefer doing other procedures over this one. If the RB doesn't agree with the intervention, I think like we would take a pretty similar approach. How do you think you would approach that?
Well, in terms of like if the RBT doesn't trust me,
So if the RBT like just doesn't agree with the intervention, it's like I don't do that. Like or like I'm not gonna do it like that.
Okay, so depending on how serious this intervention is and the function of the behavior and how it could affect my client, there, and I know that I cannot change this procedure, like there's no leeway about it, then the RBT is going to have to go on a different case.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that that is like a decent strategy. If you can't get along with them at all, sometimes it is just better to like move them to a different client, like work with different BCBAs. I've seen that happen, and but like in some centers that's not a possibility. Like sometimes you might be the only BCBA, or like there's only two, and like it doesn't make sense for the other one to pick it up. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I think like I think like some situations you're gonna have to just kind of work with this. So what might you do if you're like forced in a situation where you might have to work with that?
Definitely hear the RBT out.
Mm-hmm.
I could see like building rapport, providing more training in a sense, or more monitoring. Um, uh, More providing also like more supervision, and I guess even like pairing with the RBT.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like that a lot. Where it's like build rapport with them, and you can also just like have a frank discussion with them too. It's just like, hey, what components of this plan are bothering you, and then we can talk about like what those differences are, and maybe even like find a compromise where it's like, hey, like just like a slight modification of this procedure would still be effective, but it's going to be like more acceptable to everybody around. So yeah, just have a frank conversation about the disconnects.
Okay.
So like discover what they are, discover what they are, and see if compromise is possible,
Yeah.
plus still effective. And then if it's not, then like give the RBT the opportunity to either say like, "Hey, are you gonna be here and do this, or are you out?" Just like we'll take you off the case. So like give them the opportunity to either stay on the case and do it, or get off the case.
Pretty much.
Yep. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Well, thanks for hopping on, Christina. It was great having you on here.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one, and hope you stay for the rest of the fun.
Will do. Thank you. Take care, Nick.
All right, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, cool. It looks like we got Selena here. I'm gonna let her in. Hey, Selena, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here. All right. So, you wanted to go over experimental design stuff, correct?
Yes, and I'm so sorry I just lost you. I don't know
I
where my
know.
picture
Trust me,
is.
I'm
So
in the same
sorry.
world as you. I have like a million screens open, trying to get them all organized.
Okay, and if you hear my little one in the background, everyone, I'm so sorry. She is just one that likes to get in the mix of everything. So for me with experimental design, I would love to go through question dissection if possible. So if you have any feedback on how we would dissect the questions when we see them on the exam, I have a little breakdown of each design and then what they're used for, advantages and disadvantages. I'm not sure if going through that is helpful
Yeah.
or if just trying to dissect the questions is helpful. So
Yeah.
um,
For sure.
help.
Yeah.
I'm
Let me
not sure
see.
what to do.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know like how many questions I have. Like, I know I have a few on my PowerPoint, but I don't know like how many I have like ready to go. Yeah, we can definitely go over like question dissection tips, and let me find as many as I can. If you have questions that you've been struggling with too, you're welcome to share your screen over, and we can go over those.
Um,
But I've
was
got
not prepared for that one. I'm
that's
so
all right.
sorry.
That's all right. I've got a few at least that we can go over.
Okay.
Yeah, let me share my screen over for ya. Do, 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 do. All right, so many screens. Where's my Zoom screen? All right, yeah, can you see that? So
Yes.
okay, perfect. So yeah, when we're going through these, like what you want to do is you want to focus on like what are like some of the key features of each design and see like compare that with like what we're trying to evaluate and then relate it to our best answers. So let's go through this first one together and we'll just start by like picking out the details. As we're reading it, like think about like what are the important details and I'll follow up with like first question after.
Okay, and then I know that for question dissection, our goal is to read the last question and then do rationale for the A, B, C, D, and then go back through the question.
So,
or would you say that's different for experimental design?
I would say like for most questions, if it's a longer question, you can like quickly look at like what it wants you to orient to, or you can just start at the top and just make sure you're oriented on this the whole time. So like either way for you, I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. So, but yeah, you want to look. You want to read the whole prompt before you start putting your rationales out there, though. So if we were to like quickly look at this, it says, which experimental design would allow you to easily demonstrate the effectiveness of the token economy on each type of disruptive behavior. So yeah, we have like hints we have right now is like we're looking at token economy on disruptive behaviors. So yeah, let's check this out. You are working with a client who exhibits 3 different types of disruptive behaviors in the classroom. So we have shouting out without raising a hand, leaving their seat without permission, and distracting other students. You plan to introduce a token economy system to address each behavior one at a time. Which experimental design would allow you to easily demonstrate the effectiveness of each of these types of disruptive behaviors? All right, so let's go through like anything that's like sticking out to you right now within this prompt.
Yes, so it's one intervention, multiple behaviors that they're trying to identify if token economy works for the disruptive behavior. Well, is it just one? Because for me, it just says disruptive behavior at the bottom, but then it has 3 different behaviors discussed in the classroom.
Yeah, so what do you think? Is this 1 or 3 behaviors?
I think it's 3.
Yeah, it's 3. So we have 3 different types that are specified here. So we have shouting without raising a hand, leaving their seat without permission, and distracting other students. And then what you notice here is it says each type of disruptive behavior. So that's another clue that it's more than one that we're working with here. All right. So yeah, we have one IV. What is our IV again?
Token economy.
Good.
The
so
effectiveness of token economy.
Yeah, so there are token eco. And then we have 3 DVs. All right. So does that with these options like does this eliminate any of our designs yet?
Yes, so it eliminates changing criteria.
Good. Yeah, eliminates changing criteria. And why?
Because we're not changing the criterion over time. We're not working on that mastery criteria. It also would eliminate B because I would think that's also talking about a multi-element and we don't have multiple interventions going on.
So yeah, with a multi-element, we could actually test it out with just one intervention where you would rapidly alternate between our like a baseline or a control condition and the treatment condition. So that's actually a common misunderstanding. You don't need to have multiple treatments for a multi-element.
Okay. It would eliminate reversal because reversal is one intervention, one behavior.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, like if we were to do a reversal, like we could do it and like do 3 separate designs for each behavior, but it'd be a little bit more complicated. All right, so we're down between these last 2. So what are you thinking here? Which one would be better?
I personally, I'm going to be moving. Sorry, guys. I personally think it's C, the multiple baseline, because it's one intervention and it's multiple behaviors.
Good. Yeah. C is going to be our best answer here. So multiple baseline. Things that we want to look at here is that these 3 behaviors, they weren't really that severe. So like shouting out without raising a hand, leaving their seat without permission, distracting other students, like pretty like not that severe of behaviors. So multiple baseline could be okay. That's the one like disadvantage of multiple baselines, that we have like those extended baselines. But with these behaviors, like not that big of a deal. Also, yeah, we're testing out the one IV, and across the 3 behaviors, if we want to see these implemented one at a time, the multiple baseline is the best way to do that. So this here, like doing it like one behavior one at a time, is a really big indicator for multiple baseline as well.
Okay, so much information in these little snippets.
For sure, for sure.
I guess since you don't have too many of these and I don't want to make you have to keep searching for them, do you have tips on functional relation for each design, or like why we would choose that design? Because I know that was something you had mentioned in the beginning because my score, I'm a multiple test taker. It's been 374, 380, 388. And so, and multiple other scores because I'm going on my sixth. So I just wanted to know if that would make more sense with helping with these dissections of going in and just knowing which design to use, or continuing doing what we're doing. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I've got a few more questions ready to go here. So
perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
I say we go through these 2 other ones, and we have a 2-part experimental design view.
I've been watching it. Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like I think the most of that information is going to be in there, where we can kind of get into like more of the nitty gritty details with these questions. So I just read these, do these 2 at least, and then we can see where we want to go.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Gertrude would like to test out an intervention to attempt to slowly decrease the amount of packs of cigarettes that she buys each week. Which experimental design would best fit this purpose?
D, due to the changing criterion over time, just the fact that they're trying to change the amount of cigarettes that they're having over the course of the week.
Good. Yeah. So, best like indicator for this one is that it's a behavior that we're trying to like gradually change here. Again, like this is like not like the most severe behavior either. So, we can use changing criteria on design here. If this were like self-injury or like threats of violence, then like it would be way different. But since it's like just cigarettes, like changing criterion is fine.
Sorry guys, if you hear my kid out, would you see that type of question for changing criterion? Like, would you see something that is for self-injurious or that is for those extreme behaviors?
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that if we're using changing criterion, if we have one of those behaviors, we would not want to use changing criterion. We would want to use something more direct.
Okay, perfect. Just
yep.
To make sure.
Yep, for sure. Good question. All right, how about this next one? Ronaldo has 3 different forms of self-injury. We've got headbanging, scratching, and wall charging. Due to the intense severity of these behaviors, an effective intervention needs to be discovered and implemented immediately. Which of the following would be the worst experimental design for this situation?
Oh, you tricked me with that.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, let's go through reading this question. Really important to identify that worst here. So let's go through this. What were some important details that we're working with?
Well, I was for sure going to say A because of the immediately implemented, due to the intense severity of the behaviors, just kind of breaking down this question and which of the following would be the worst. My mind jumps right to D, changing criterion. But we just had that conversation. So I'm like, is my brain doing that because we just had that conversation, or legitimately because we would not use a changing criterion for these extreme behaviors? I wouldn't see it. I personally don't think I would see it. So that's why.
All right. So
rationale.
We're going to use one of my favorite strategies for this. It's called play it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these putting this arrangement on top of the question. What does it actually look like? And maybe that'll illuminate which one of these is really going to be worse. So let's start with our reversal design, BABC. So we have 3 different forms of self-injury here. And yeah, he's at risk of harming himself. So what are some advantages or disadvantages of this design?
Advantages would be that we're jumping right to intervention because we're starting with B.
Good.
So we don't have to take that intervention due to the severity of the behaviors.
Good.
And then we're just making sure that the intervention works. So we might drop to baseline and then re-implement it to ensure that there's functional relation with that intervention.
Good.
But that's what I'm thinking, because it goes B, A, B, C, and then we might try a different, what is the C?
Yeah, C would be like a second treatment.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yep. So is there anything bad about this design?
The reversal. So the fact that you're going back to baseline.
Yep. So yeah, that revert to A, not so great. What's kind of cool is that like we can make that pretty minimal though. So like we could do that as like one session, and if we get like a clear data point, like yep, it's back, it'll be over right back to RB. So I think it'd be okay, but still not great. How about alternating treatments design? What do we think about this one? Like, let's play this out. What would that look like?
That we're comparing the effects of the treatment on the self-injurious behavior, but there's only one intervention. Effective intervention needs to be discovered and implemented immediately. Okay.
So yeah, would this implement an intervention immediately?
No.
No?
Yes.
Which one?
No, because it goes to baseline. You have to, don't you always take baseline? Or you can jump with multi-element, you can jump, or alternating treatment. You can go right to intervention. Because I'm thinking of like FAs. We don't really take baseline for FAs.
Yeah, so can we go right to intervention?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So this one, also we get our intervention immediately.
And we don't withdraw. We don't have any withdrawal with this one.
Yeah, less withdrawal. But like another advantage that we can like quickly compare multiple.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah, quick comparisons and reduces sequence effect.
Yeah. Is there any disadvantage to our alternating treatment design here?
I want to say it's not, I don't know. Is it going to show us the reduction of the self-injurious behavior? Or is it just going to show us if the intervention is working?
Well, it depends if you pick good interventions or not.
That's true. So then no.
So that's less to do with the design and more to do about like which IV we're testing. So rule that out. We don't need to think about that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with this one.
Yeah, so alternating treatment designs are actually the best for dangerous behavior.
Love that. Light bulb.
Yep. And for the reasons that you just told me. So the reasons is that we can implement our intervention immediately, so we can skip over baseline entirely, and then we can quickly evaluate a couple different things, just like try to land on something and try many different things very fast.
Okay.
So alternating treatment design is actually our best one.
Perfect.
All right, let's think about our multiple baseline design. Let's play it out here. Is like anything good or bad about this one?
Multiple baseline is one intervention, two dependent variables. It doesn't need to be removed, so that's a good thing. But we have baseline, so that's the bad thing.
Good, yeah. So like, plus is that like no removal necessary.
Right.
Like no reversal. But yeah, our minus is that we have baselines. Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of baselines. Some might even say multiple baselines.
Correct.
So like, how do those baselines work in a multiple baseline? Like, when do we start each one?
When the first one's stable. So when the first one baseline is hit stable and it's in intervention, we can go into baseline for the second.
Good.
Participant setting or behavior, whatever it is that we're looking at.
Good. So do you think like we'd be in baseline like a little bit or a lot of it?
Well, a lot of it.
Yeah. So baseline with lots of baselines. Where we saw
going.
Yeah, and where we saw with like our BABC, like this is a baseline, but it was short, so we could only do like a one session baseline if we needed to.
So you would say self-injurious behavior, we would not ever really see multiple baseline unless it's minimal self-injurious behavior.
I mean, with our play it out strategy, it's showing that like, hey, this wouldn't be that great because we're going to be in baseline for a while for a lot of these.
Okay.
How about our changing criterion design? Like, how could this work out?
I guess you could be focusing on the topography or the magnitude of the behavior.
Yeah, I mean, you can even look at the rate of the behavior.
Okay, and see if it's reducing over time.
Will this give us immediate intervention?
No, we have to take baseline.
Also false. We can skip baseline
Really?
here. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, we can skip baseline here. So plus of this was we could intervene immediately.
Okay. The gender criterion messes me up.
Um, yeah. And then anything good or bad about this one?
It's usually used for skill acquisition, and so we wouldn't necessarily do it for a behavior of concern. But
Also incorrect.
It actually does talk about reducing challenging behaviors.
Yeah, yeah. And we just saw we use it for reducing Gertrude's cigarette smoking.
Yes, yes. Okay, so those are the advantages is it doesn't require reversal and it has instructional techniques. Is what I have down.
Yeah. So would there be any negatives to a changing criterion design?
No comparison of possible treatment and not appropriate for analyzing shaping. That's what I have down, but I don't know if.
Yeah. Does that relate to this at all?
No, because we're not shaping the behavior and we're not looking at comparisons of possible treatments.
Yeah. So like the only like negative to this, so it would be for shaping, but it would be targeting more gradual changes.
Right, and we want rapid changes for this.
Yeah.
Due to the severity. Okay. Because it says intense severity. If it didn't say intense severity, would maybe gradual change be okay?
Potentially, yeah. And again, we want to look at like how damaging those behaviors are. So like we talked about like the cigarette example, like yeah, the cigarettes aren't great for her, but she's not gonna die.
Right.
Where
Okay.
it's like, hey, if he's like charging his head against the wall, that's not so
That's
great.
pretty bad.
A little bit different
Not something
caliber.
you want happening all the time. Okay.
All right. So we did our play it out now. We've eliminated B since we said this is our best option. Again, we're focusing on the worst option. So now we really need to look at which one of these is the worst. Is a little bit of baseline really bad? Is it a lot of baseline really bad? Or is this gradual change more the worst?
I want to say C, a lot of baseline is really bad just due to
Good.
the behavior of concern.
Good. And you're exactly correct. Awesome.
Great.
So yeah, sometimes this playing out strategy like makes these more challenging questions really easy. So like you were all over the place at the beginning.
It was.
But if we
I
can
liked that tip because I actually watched your like 18-minute video of those tips, and I just wouldn't have thought to do it for the designs. So
Yeah.
that's great. So happy I met with you today. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. It was great to have you here. So yeah, play it out strategy rules. Yeah, when like you're not too sure about something, just like if you run it through, you're actually gonna see things a lot more easily. So yeah, cool. I'm glad people in chat seem to like that too. Awesome.
Thank you. I'll
Yeah.
sign off and join you on the other end.
All right, sounds
Bye.
great. Take care, Selena. All right, well that was fun. Yeah, it was such a blast I love having other students on here. Let's go ahead. How about we do one more giveaway? Cool. I'm glad we had some light bulb moments here. Awesome. Yeah, let's do like one more giveaway. We're talking a little bit about basic contingency stuff. I think we're gonna pause on that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have the fundamentals of behavior course that's gonna drop a little bit, or we'll say early next year, and that's gonna go over these basic contingencies really thoroughly. I still think that this is like the most misunderstood concept on the task list. So definitely keep your eyes out for that fundamentals course because it's going to change your life and how you see these contingencies everywhere. Yeah, we've been on a little bit over 2 hours now. I think that was a pretty sufficient bonanza. So we're going to do one more giveaway. Thanks for everybody sticking here till the end with me. How about we'll do a good giveaway? We're going to do a full mock bundle giveaway. So we're giving away one ultimate mock bundle that comes with the mini mocks for mastery, as well as the as one copy of Beat the Beast. So you can get either Beat the Beast 1 or 2 from this. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool. So yeah, you can get either the Ultimate Mock Bundle 1 or 2. We'll save the Super Ultimate Mock Bundles for later. We do have a deal right now. We might keep it up for a little bit. We might keep it up for like a little bit longer. But right now, if you purchase any of the Ultimate Mock Bundles, you're going to get the fluency questions absolutely for free. So all you need to do is add those to your cart as well when you buy either the Ultimate Mock Bundle, Ultimate Mock Bundle 2, or the Super Ultimate Mock Bundle. And you'll get the fluency questions for free. We'll keep that up for a little bit longer, so take advantage of that soon. Also, if you want to get the notes from today's session, those are up on the shop. It'll be $5 to get all the notes that we talked about for today. Super cool stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and give this away before my voice dies. Yeah, you see I have a million tabs up. And yeah, you can watch this stream later for sure. You can rewatch it whenever you want. Thanks so much for everyone who came on today and provided topics. It was super fun having you guys on. Good luck to everybody at this giveaway. We got a bit smaller crowd here, so your odds are even better. We'll give you guys maybe a couple more minutes there, or like 30 more seconds. I don't know. Okay, I see the numbers slowing down a little bit. One winner per person, or one number per person. Jennifer Nguyen, that's 2 numbers. All right, let's take a look. Our winner is 490. Who gets towards the top this time? 490. Ooh, everybody guesses towards the middle. I saw 444. That might be our winner, Michelle White. I think it's Michelle White. We didn't have that many people guess towards the top this time. All right, we're gonna give it to Michelle White at 444. So, yeah, congratulations to Michelle. She just won one of the Ultimate Mock Bundles. Send me an email after this stream and let me know which one that you want. So if you want the one with Beat the Beast 1 or Beat the Beast 2. And yeah, again, the deal right now is if you buy any of our Ultimate Mock Bundles, you can get the Fluency Package absolutely for free. So you just need to add that to your cart. I don't think it needs a discount code. We'll test that right now live. So we're going to add this to our cart. Then we're going to add the fluency questions to our cart. And when we go to checkout, they are free, $0. So really great deal. Good. We save a lot of money with that. We call it our bundle bonanza. So yeah, go check that out. If 490 was 440 was the closest. 400 doesn't reach it. All right. Well, thanks everybody for participating. What did Shay have? 400? Yeah, 400 is not closer than 440. All right. The Beat the Beast 2, it's very similar. So if you like Beat the Beast 1, Beat the Beast 2 is just like a new and improved version. I'd say like they're pretty similar, about equal. It's holding up as a tough mock, just like Beat the Beast 1. People are scoring very similarly. And yeah, it's looking good, looking good. All right, well, thanks so much for coming, everybody. I'm actually going to be gone next week, so I won't see you guys next week on stream, but we'll still have Molly run group on Monday and Crystal runs group on Wednesday. I'll be back the following week for a stream. But yeah, holidays get a little crazy, so hopefully you enjoyed this extra bonus stream today. Thanks so much, everybody. And yeah, definitely take advantage of that Ultimate Mock Bundle deal. Yeah, if you're not sure which ones to get, I would get the Super Ultimate Mock Bundle because it comes with both of the Beat the Beast 1 and Beat the Beast 2. And again, you'll also get the fluency questions free with this. So this is your best deal. You'd pretty much get all of our products that we have for $139 total. So don't miss out. It's an awesome deal. Okay, thanks so much for coming, everybody. We're going to wrap this up. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great week. Enjoy the holidays. And I'll see you in about 2 weeks or a week and a half. All right, later, crew.